Now to Egypt, where it was almost a year ago now when we arrived to see those huge crowds in Tahrir Square. The resulting revolution ousted Mubarak. The military was running things until elections, but tonight we are at it again. There's the scene, more violence, more bloodshed in that same place, and new questions about Egypt's near future. Our chief foreign correspondent, Richard Engel, is right back there tonight. Richard, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. Last time they toppled a dictator in this square. Now they want his army to go. Egyptians in Tahrir Square today took on their army and police with stones and Molotov cocktails. Police fired burning, choking clouds of tear gas. Protesters tried to throw them right back. They toppled President Hosni Mubarak last February. Now Egyptians want to overthrow the army that took over for him and promised to bring democracy. The same people are in power. Nothing has changed. They are worse than the past regime, this man said. But fighting police and soldiers with stones comes at a cost. The injured are brought to this makeshift infirmary here in the square where volunteers try and revive them. Almost everyone is suffocating from tear gas. The injured often came in limp, sprawled out on carpets, some very young, treated with disinfectant and eye drops. And the Egyptian military is using more than tear gas. At least 30 demonstrators have been killed since yesterday. This video has become a new icon. Egyptian troops last night dragging what appeared to be a dead protester. For the United States, this second revolt is a dilemma. Washington backs Egypt's pro-democracy movement, but also backs its old ally, the Egyptian military, and arms it. The tear gas in Tahrir is American-made. Protesters told me so are other supposed crowd control devices. He's showing me one of the shotgun shells, and it does clearly say, made in the USA. In the square, demonstrators prayed in defiance, some wearing gas masks, calling for the army to step down. As you can see, Brian, there are still tens of thousands of people here in Tahrir Square. They've set up tents. They are spending the night. They'll be using these tents tomorrow when they plan to have a 1 million-man march in this city. And once again, the future of Egypt and who controls it is at stake.
So, Richard, one way of asking it, the last time you and I walked through there, it was a sunny afternoon. We met, talked to a lot of people. If we could go back and find those same people, what have their lives been like in the interim? Has it been a kind of suspended animation for them?
They have put their faith in the Egyptian army and the Egyptian military to bring democracy here and bring a degree of prosperity. That was the deal that they made when President Mubarak stepped down. The economy here is still in shambles. No tourists are coming, and democracy didn't seem like it was on the horizon, and that's why they took to the streets again. All
right, Richard Engel back again, Tahrir Square in Cairo. Richard, thanks. One other note tonight about the uprisings in the Arab world. Saif Gaddafi, the fugitive son of Libya's Moammar Gaddafi, British educated, well-dressed, often the spokesman for Libya during the uprising. Well, he was captured over the weekend while trying to cross the border and get out of Libya. Libyan officials say they will ask for the death penalty for Saif Gaddafi. We're back with those astounding pictures from the student protest on the campus of the University of California, Davis. The story spread via social media. The video shows police methodically spraying students with debilitating law enforcement-grade thick pepper spray that's meant to cover like spray paint. Now imagine those are your kids sitting on that sidewalk. It has turned that campus upside down, as you might imagine. The fallout is far from over in this. NBC's Kristen Dahlgren live for us there tonight at UC Davis. Kristen, good evening.
Good evening, Brian, and we're beginning to see some of those Occupy tents popping back up here on campus. That video has now gotten more than 1.4 million views, sparking outrage around the world and calls for some serious changes here on this campus.
This is the video that spread shock across the internet. Police in full riot gear pepper spraying students at point-blank range as the young protesters sat arms linked, making no moves.
Don't shoot students!
The demonstrators were protesting tuition that has doubled in the last 7 years. And for many on the quiet campus, It was their first protest ever.
The students that come here are bioscience majors, veterinarians, doctors, neurologists.
Well, these guys...
Thomas Fowler shot the now famous video when he thought the show of force was going too far.
I was surprised. I didn't really even know Davis Police had riot gear to use.
I should not feel unsafe on my own campus.
This afternoon, demonstrators were back on campus, many demanding the resignation of School Chancellor Linda Katehi.
I'm here to apologize. I really feel horrible for what happened on Friday.
Maki Haberfeld trains police on use of force.
I thought it's excessive because from what I was seeing, there was still room to do other things.
I see pepper spray as a tool for officers to use. You hope and pray that it's used correctly and within policy and that the after effects are not terrible.
Chief Spikuza and 2 officers identified in the video have been placed on administrative leave. But today, even some professors say it's not just the police, but the university that failed its young students.
We need to ask ourselves why it is that at the University of California, police are armed with assault rifles in the first place. Why do they carry chemical weapons? What on earth are they thinking?
The Faculty Association has now joined in the calls for the chancellor to resign. Meantime, the university is forming a task force to look into the incident, and the university is also asking the district attorney's office to look into this to see, Brian, if any criminal charges should apply.
All right, Kristen Dahlgren on the campus, UC Davis tonight. Kristen, thanks.